fantastic pains and how we hide them. I'm not Chris.
And I'm not Karina.
But we're here together.
As usual.
For more fun times and
shenanigans.
If this is your very first time joining us, welcome. Glad to see you here. We're always open for new faces. Even if you're not putting your face out there, it's all good. This is our sibling duo podcast about life with chronic and invisible illnesses, both physical and mental and emotional.
I'm mental and she's emotional.
Hi. It gets silly. Like I said, we are siblings. I know it's confusing. I'm brown.
I'm not.
There's nothing we can do about it. I don't know what to tell you.
I'll work on it.
But we are related.
Yes.
So it's all good. Where can they find us?
If you want to, you can watch us on YouTube and maybe a little bit on TikTok.
Yeah.
We have the shorts on there. You can listen to us on Spotify, Audible, Google Podcasts, and Podbean. Mm-hmm. And Amazon. I don't know if
Amazon. Yeah, I don't know how many you said.
Oh, it's fine.
You got most of them.
I got them. The big ones. You can find us pretty much anywhere.
Yes.
You can also join us. We do live streams on Friday and Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday morning for us, Friday evening for us.
Yes.
So we can cater to the European crowd. We can cater to the American crowd.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can join us, talk with us, ask us questions, or just hang out.
Absolutely. Really good community in the Discord. So hop on over there if you are looking for support or just like-minded people who are going through similar things.
Yes. And welcome all the newbies.
Yes.
It's been great.
It's been wonderful getting to see everybody and your comments. We really appreciate them.
Mm-hmm.
We read every single comment. So please feel free to reach out to us.
Yes.
And again, you can reach out to us in the Discord as well.
Yep.
So here we go. Today is going to be a little bit different in format because we had a week.
A week of many emotions.
A week. And there were many things in the week. So we had a kind of a hard time this morning trying to settle on one topic or another.
Right.
Because they all felt so pertinent, right?
Yes.
So we are going to kind of dissect our week and go topic by topic as we wander through.
Right. It's like we don't have a huge topic.
Yeah. There's no
we have
master
several
topic.
little ones that are just as important, and we didn't want to not do them. So
yes,
we'll break it up.
Yeah.
Little lightning round for you.
Right. But to get going into that, it is time for the weekly recap.
Check in.
As I lose my voice.
And she's dead.
Yeah. I just have like this runoff that's bad.
I still have
coating my the anytime the pressure changes, my sinuses drain.
Yeah.
And right onto my vocal cords where then they gum everything up, and it's not fun for me or anyone else.
Weird side note. Well, this is part of the week. This counts. This is like the most lighthearted bit. I was watching people singing in like falsetto and like teachers talking about how to like help you with higher notes.
Yeah.
And like there's a way to relax your larynx by looking up, sticking your tongue out and stretching it for 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And then releasing. It'll help you not have them be so tight so you can sing higher but loose, which is good because you're not straining.
I'm gonna do it and see what happens.
It's like those things where it's like you can't smile and wink at me, and then they like got you in 4K.
They get me all the time, so
yeah,
I just stop avoiding it at
Me
this
too.
point. All right, so
we're gonna start with your week.
With my week?
Yeah.
Okay.
My week isn't as important or fun.
Do you want to do yours first then? Because we're gonna do topics off of my week, right?
Yeah, and topics off mine.
Okay.
Just in the second half when it's less.
That's
structure.
fine by me.
So. Anyway.
He's being a brat.
Yes.
But you know what? I love him.
So.
And there's nothing he can do.
I'll talk about the first day.
Okay.
Of your week.
Yes.
Okay.
Because he's the man.
She really likes that TikTok.
It's really funny.
It's funny. I wasn't being serious. I'm not sexist, I swear.
No, he's not.
I'm not. I promise. At least I try not to be. So here's the scene. We have a schedule, right? We do our recordings on Saturday. We do our lives on Friday and lives on Saturday morning. And then we get together to just set up shorts and scheduling and tags and all sorts of like behind the scenes bullshit on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, great, we're going to do it. It'll be fun. I had a whole bunch of ideas. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to wait for them to get here and then we'll work on it together. And then my daughter's like, let's hang out. I was like, I can't. I'm waiting for them to show up eventually. Like, she asked me early in the day. And you'd already told me that you were going to be later.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't. You know how it is, right? And like, I'm focused on the thing that's coming up.
ADHD paralysis.
Yes. And so I waited, I put off things, and then you guys got to the end of the day and we're like, it's not happening, bud. And I was like,
yeah.
Damn it, I should have done those things. Like, it's not your fault at all. If anything, I'm glad that you took the time to like recoup because.
Well, and it wasn't even a recoup. If it makes you feel better, we did like. So what did we say?
Like cleaning stuff.
Yeah. So it was supposed to be like do a little bit of cleaning and do the laundry and then be done. But it was like we did the shopping, we did the cleaning, we did the laundry, we had to cook.
Yeah.
On top of
so you
that,
did like
so we
ton
did
of things.
everything, and then we went clothes shopping, and I was like over it.
Yeah.
Because if there's one thing I hate, it's shopping for clothes. I hate it.
Yeah.
I do not enjoy that process. It sucks.
I wish I could just have the clothes.
I
don't like shopping for them.
No, it was
I
bad.
agree.
So yeah, we got to the end of the day, and I was like, I can't. I love you, and I can't. I have to work tomorrow.
Like I said, I wasn't upset at you. I was just upset that I kept putting things off.
Right.
And then I got to the end of the day, I was like, I really should have just sat down and done the thing when I had the energy. Because I didn't. By the time you were done, I was done with the day too. I was like, I'm glad they're not coming over. I don't have it in me.
Yeah.
So that was our Sunday. Our collective Sunday.
Yes. So Sunday was kind of recovery and also like dragging myself through the dirt to try to get my house back in some kind of order.
Yeah.
Monday was a day. It happened. I was tired.
We don't even have anything on the sheet. You can actually see this is a blank spot right here.
Spot.
Monday, nothing.
Nothing. Got nothing Monday. Tuesday was the worst.
Tuesday has several subjects in it.
Yes. So actually, the funny thing is Monday, I got the call saying, do you want to see this doctor early?
Mm-hmm.
And then I asked my boss and she was like, yeah, go for it. So I was taking a half day originally, and this was for the neurologist who I had been waiting to see, and I was supposed to wait until September to see him, but I was on the cancellation list, about all of my neurological nonsense, including the trigeminal neuralgia that comes and goes whenever it pleases and makes my life really hard.
Yeah.
And the like dropping of things constantly and the throwing stuff and my inability to coordinate my own movements.
Like all those neurological problems that you have?
You know. And it sucked. It was the absolute worst. So like right out of the gate, he walks in and he was just annoyed. Because he was like, so I'm confused. You have a neurologist? And I was like, no, he was supposed to drop me. He said he was going to drop me. The nursing staff said that they were going to make sure that that happened before they even set me up with the appointment.
Yeah.
This is not my fault. He was supposed to do the thing. They were supposed to do the thing. Why are you mad at me?
You had several times gone through and talked to these people, several people, about dropping him so that you could get the new one.
Yes. Because this neurologist was recommended because other patients with EDS apparently, or patients with like similar symptoms, I guess, have him and have liked him. This was not the case. So in essence, he was irritated with me, irritated with the other doctor. He was like, well, Dr. Blah, blah, blah should be doing his job. And I was like, I can't control that. What do you want me to do about it? And then he's like, well, I guess like, so tell me about your pains. And I was already like, this is not going to go well.
You shut off instantly.
This is not going to go well.
Yeah. I would have been like, it's this.
Yeah. And I was like, can I just leave? Can I just walk out?
You just put your hand up. Okay, enough said.
Yeah,
we're good.
I'm done. Oh my God. And then in essence, what he said to me was, all of your scans have been clear. That seems to be the trend, which is ridiculous because all of the scans are clear all over the place. And then they find massive soft tissue damage anyway. Right?
Like every time we've tried to get surgeries done, we've had, between us, we've had, I think, 11 surgeries.
Yeah, something like that.
Like, it's ridiculous.
Right.
And every time it's been predicated by, oh, well, the scan didn't show anything.
Yeah. Until
they do another scan, and then they're like, oh, wow, there's actually a ton of damage here.
Wow, look how shredded your labrums are.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, your MRI was clear. We didn't see any evidence of whatever that was. And then he goes into talking to me about how it was one of those like take the glasses off moments. He's like, so people with your condition, like your pain is supposed to be an alarm and it's there to keep you from like hurting yourself, right? But people with your condition, their alarms are they're just broken. And I was like, bro, I use this analogy constantly all the time in my own life. Shut up.
Yes. No, we've always, even when we were relating way
Right.
back in the day, we're like,
Right.
it's like the alarms are on and we just ignore them. Like,
Yep.
it's there. We know it's going off, but it's not like
Yeah.
we can't function. He doctor explained to her.
Yes.
He talking down to you.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and then went on to say that he thinks that my problem is probably genetic and not autoimmune. And I was like, I didn't think it was autoimmune.
Duh.
I was worried about like, compression injuries because that's what happens in
cranial
here,
instability, bro.
right? But the message was, you're too complicated. Your condition's really complicated. You're going to continue to have pains forever. And I don't want to be your doctor.
And
Here's the best part. He went forward to say that, like, if he's like, you could keep getting things checked out and you could keep chasing answers, but I mean, it's going to be a lot of money for you. And like, you're just going to wind up being a professional patient at that point, and people are going to write you off.
I have a lot to say about that. He
I
also
livid.
told you to just wait.
Yeah.
Wait for medicine to
he
catch
was
up.
Like, oh, we think that it's these 7 sodium channels, and we just don't have anything for that right now that works. They tried to bring something out this last year, but it didn't really work. They're going to find something that targets those 7 pathways. So like in the next 10 years, you'll be on totally different medications.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, cool.
Great guy.
I don't care.
Your bedside manner.
I don't
A+.
care.
Side note, the 7 channels sounds like an anime thing.
I know.
It's like, I've got the 7 sodium blockers.
Deadly...
I'm unlocking my sodium channel. Now my power is greatly increased.
Yeah.
Ow!
And then he went on to be like, well, some people call it small fiber neuropathy, because I was telling him that I have small fiber neuropathy.
Yeah.
And then he was like, well, and other people just call it fibromyalgia. And I was like, don't you dare. Because if you have watched this channel before, I have a problem with that diagnosis.
We both do.
And it's not that like it's a faker thing. It's what doctors give you when they don't want
it's
to
how
look
they
into
use
something.
it.
Yes.
Because it is a real thing. People
Right.
have it. But to then just use it as a dump off, like,
Right.
oh, it's probably fibromyalgia. It's like,
Which is code for, we think you're faking it or it's in your head. Go away now. Yes. Well, and then he backtracked because I was like, if you're telling me that nobody can help me and I need to stop seeking help, I will walk away from the table and that's fine.
right.
And then he was like, well, but there's a fine line between realism and pessimism. And I was like, what are you trying to say to me?
You defeatist.
Right. Oh, so it was not good.
No.
It just sucked. And he was just like, there are surgeries that we could attempt to make it better, but nobody's going to want to do that with your condition because for all we know, the pain could come back on the other side. So we do nothing.
I don't well, he's clearly not a surgeon, right?
No.
Because like a surgeon would go,
Oh, they love
we
it.
should try it.
They will jump.
And they'll preface it with, it might come back. It
Yeah.
might be worse.
Yeah.
But you should do it. And then we're like,
and this
okay.
is the thing. Like, I've heard other people with EDS be told by doctors, like, you should not have surgery because it's just going to happen again. Which to me is just
I
silly.
wouldn't have survived the last 10 years if
my
I had followed that
God.
advice.
I wouldn't be able to use my right arm at all. By
Both
this
of us.
point.
I wouldn't be able to lift or touch things. I wouldn't be able to walk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which is stupid because we know that surgeries, when you have Ehlers-Danlos, are likely going to be, they'll have a need to be repeated.
Yeah.
We are okay with that. We're okay with that. We're like, yeah, 3 to 5 years of less pain than this.
Yes, please.
I'm game. Let's go. But he was just like, and nobody else is going to want to touch you. And like, they're just going to keep throwing diagnoses at you and blah, blah, blah. Because I'm like, I've heard it's migraines. I've heard it's this thing. And nobody wants to touch the spasms or like look into the movement disorder.
Yeah.
Or like, clearly there's something going on. It was just ridiculous. There was something else that he said that really bothered me, but I don't remember what it was. There were so many things. It was just really nasty.
Yeah. Do you want to break that down first before we go on to the second half of that adventure?
Let's break that one down, because for me that falls into like the categories of, oh,
you remembered.
He tried to explain to me that with our condition, like, we're just more sensitive to pain. So if I fall down, it's not going to hurt as much as, like, it'll be like that. But if you fall, it's going to be like this. And I was like, no.
Excuse me?
No. You are incorrect, because guess what? We tolerate more pain on the daily, And we're very good at writing it off and ignoring it
Right.
to our own detriment.
And it's not to say that your neural pathways can't be encoded.
Right.
Like, I get that that's a thing.
Yeah.
But just because your brain is wired for more pain doesn't mean that you can't handle it.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Like, it's just, it's blowing off the entire experience of pain.
Yes.
And, like,
especially something like trigeminal neuralgia.
right. The
You don't
suicide
get to
disease.
write me off on trigeminal neuralgia, because I even had to stop and explain. I was like, I'm in pain all the time and I function. This is different. This is not like anything else. This is not just a like, oh, your alarm is just beeping for no reason. This
Right.
is like, I'm going to die if this lasts any longer.
The suicide rate is ridiculous for
Yeah.
people that have trigeminal neuralgia.
Yes.
Like, that's a fact. And it's not like people with EDS are offing themselves more because of it, because they're more sensitive to it.
Right.
It's not
Right.
how it works,
No.
sir.
And I even explained, I was like, I had shingles for a week
Before you even thought
before
to do
I
anything.
even thought to ask anybody about it.
Yeah.
Because that's what we do with pain. And he was like, well, but I mean, even a tingle, if you felt it like 24/7, 7 days a week, I mean, that it would just become pain. And
No,
I was
it
like,
wouldn't.
shut up. You don't understand sensation and you don't understand pain. What are you doing as a neurologist?
Well, and he's picking studies
Oh
and,
my
and
God.
misrepresenting them.
Yeah.
But this is going to lead right into my biggest
Yeah.
problem with this is the professional patient aspect.
Yes.
The fact that it can be used as a negative
Right.
pisses me off so bad.
Yeah.
Like, one of the people we look up to in our community,
Mhm.
Ruth, amazing. You know so much about your condition, so much about things that it
Yes.
could be, and you
Yeah.
track everything.
Right.
For a doctor to be like, oh, you're a professional patient, I'm not going to listen to you, is fucking absurd to me.
Yes.
That it's a negative.
Right.
Sorry that I know what's going on. I know more about my condition than you do because you read it in a book for a week.
Yes.
I've lived with it
Yeah.
my whole life.
Yep. And I'm sorry, like, if you're in the Discord and you've seen that video I posted of the doctor talking about the fact that EDS patients, if they come to you with something, they're usually on the right track because they've been doing the research.
Yes.
They have to live with this. They have been blown off by doctors over and over and over again.
Yep.
We have to be our own advocates all the time. And then to turn around and be like, oh, you're just going to like live at the doctor's office and you'll be a professional patient and they're not going to take care of you because they're going to start writing you off and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, bro, I have chronic illness. I'm going to be a professional patient either way.
Right.
And it just sounded like somebody telling you like, you have a complicated condition. Nobody can help you. Stop seeking care.
Right.
And I was just like,
It blows my mind
whoa.
that it's used that way.
Yeah.
That they could use that as a negative.
Mhm. Yeah.
If we're making your job easier, if anything, we know, like we could help you with your decision. It's a team. It's like we always say, it's a team job, right? Yeah. There's you and the doctor, not the doctor telling you things.
Yep.
They don't know what's going on with you until you tell them.
I'm sorry, doctors are horrible communicators.
Yeah.
You're never going to learn anything about your condition from your doctor.
Right.
They're going to be like, I know about it and I'll take care of it. You don't need to know. Like, you won't understand if I try to explain anyway.
Like they're saving us from ourselves. That is bullshit.
Like you were talking about with, no, who was talking about the brain scan?
No, that was me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And Ruth.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That just,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where they're like, oh, you have a mass, but we're not going to tell you
Yeah,
about
no, that
it.
was me. I went and saw a neurologist, had a bunch of scans done, and they never communicated any of the results, even though I had a follow-up.
Yep.
Nothing was said to me
Yep.
until my primary called me up a week later and was like, how are you doing? And I was like, I'm good. Why? And she's like, I know it can be scary finding out you have a mass in your brain. I was like, excuse me, what? I have a where? Oh, there's like a couple centimeter size mass in your pituitary. I didn't know. Thanks for telling me.
Yeah.
Oh God.
So they don't communicate, and then they'll turn around and use it against you and be like, well, you had a neck MRI. And I'm like, yeah, I never heard anything back on that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you had a MRI of your skull. That's great. I didn't hear anything back on that.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do?
Right. Well, and then you get in situations where we have to be professional
Yes.
patients. We're like, if we're not taking care of what records go where and who gets what,
Mhm.
then it doesn't get done.
Yeah.
And then it
exactly.
adds like 3 more months for everything we don't do ourselves
Yep.
to the process. So we have to.
Yeah. Because
So
they're
what-
not going to.
No.
They don't care to. And it was just like, and he would do this like double back and be like, your pain is real and you're experiencing it. And I'm not saying that you're like faking it or you're a malingerer or that you need the attention, but I am saying that because your condition is so complicated.
It's like,
and I was like, you're copping out right now.
real quick, sir, I wasn't thinking those things until you said them
Exactly.
to me just fucking now.
Thank you. And I'm like, you don't get to just like run around and be like, you're a problem, but also you're valid. But you're a problem, but you're valid.
Uh-huh.
Shut up.
It's the
Get out of my face.
same problem I have with people who derogatorily use doctor shopping. It's like
Yeah, it's like it's a bad thing.
yes, people can doctor shop
Mm.
negatively.
Yeah.
They can also do it effectively and helpfully to find the care that they have to get.
Yeah.
You have to create the care team that you need.
Yeah.
Because no one's going to do it for you.
Right. Well, and God forbid you settle in situations like this.
Well, you hear it from people all the time.
Mhm.
Like poor Crystal, who was stuck
Oh,
with that
yeah.
doctor, just
And
gave
she
up
just
on her.
literally wouldn't do anything.
Right. Like,
It's
come
ridiculous.
on.
Yeah. No. Doctor shop. Please, doctor shop. Don't let people tear you down and continue to like pretend to look over you. Like, no.
Mhm.
No. We're not tolerating that shiz anymore.
No.
I'm done. I'm over it. So neurology doesn't want to help me. We will just stop seeing neurology
Right.
because I'm over it. I've been through, 3 neurologists. I only liked one of my neurologists and he left Kaiser.
Right.
And he was the one who was like, I'm super interested and I want to know stuff and we're going to dig for it and figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was gone. And
You know
then
why
the
he's
other
gone?
ones-
Because he's good.
'cause he was, exactly.
It happens
Or
every
he
time.
got sick of the model that
Mhm.
they use.
Right, and tried to find a place that would fit him.
Yeah.
Which is not going to be inside your insurance because that's always how it goes.
Yep.
I've lost so many doctors to them being good at what they do.
Yes. Well,
That
and they
they
leave
move-
broken systems to
Yeah.
go create better ones. And
Exactly.
but the accessibility is not there. So that just sucked. It just sucked. And it's that like dismissals and misrepresentation and how dare you try to explain pain to me?
That.
That bothers me a lot.
Yeah.
Especially because I have done everything.
And so condescending.
Yeah.
Like,
To be like, I work with a pain psychologist and have done for 3 years?
Yeah.
Ish? 4 years? Yeah, 3 or 4 years. I don't know.
dude, if anyone talks to me about pain, I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I've gone through psychology.
I
I've
don't
gone through
wanna hear
therapy.
you.
I've gone through training on how to do coping
Yep.
skills. I know so much about how to handle my pain.
Yeah.
And you just assume that I'm a victim to it?
Right.
Like, oh no, I experience it worse because some people develop that. Like,
Yeah.
it's not universal. Our pain isn't the constant chronic pain. It's pain randomly throughout the body all
Yes.
the time.
Well, and that he tried to tell me that there were no triggers. And I was like, I just named a bunch of triggers, bud.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? There's no triggers. Because the weather is not a trigger.
Oh no.
And I'm like, oh, yes, it is.
That was the nice thing about the pain management that I
Mhm.
visited with the guy who actually knew what
Yeah.
it was like to have like pain from the weather
Uh-huh.
because he had a condition.
Yeah.
And they didn't take my insurance. And he wanted to hype me up. Like he wanted to ketamine me into hallucinationville. I can't do that right after my sepsis event.
No.
I would have a meltdown.
PTSD.
It would be a bad trip.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
And it's like 6 hours long that they put you on ketamine, and you have to do it like
Yeah.
once a week for a month, and then once every 2 weeks for 2 months after, something like that.
No.
And it costs like $6
It's
grand.
a lot. We looked into it after my husband's head
Yeah.
injury. And it's a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
But
Ooh.
he was cool because he understood. It was the first time I saw or heard a doctor be like, "Yes, no, that is a thing that is experienced."
Yeah. Well, my pain management doctor is always like, I know what's coming in the weather
Because
based
of the
on my patients.
Yeah.
So
I've heard
they
that before.
know, people who work with pain know. And it's such a misrepresentation to be like, well, you just feel more pain than normal people. And you're just a little
Clearly doesn't
sensitive."
understand
And you're like,
EDS. But
"What?"
also, I mean, beyond the not understanding how EDS works
Mhm.
and that it's not a chronic pain,
Right.
I feel bad for chronic pain patients that have to deal with that.
God.
Like, oh, you're in pain all the time. We're not going to treat you because you're in pain all the time
You need
and
to
you're sensitive
start
to
getting
it.
over it. Maybe you should go back to therapy. You're like, I was there yesterday. What do you want from me?
Like, seriously?
Yeah.
It blows my mind that that's the thing in their head. Like, oh, if you're in temporary pain, we'll take care of you. It's fine. But you live with this on the daily. Oh, you're sensitive to it now, bud. I guess you're just a baby.
You feel more pain than other people. No, we don't. No, we don't. Hence toe surgery every other couple months. I don't know. It just sucked. And then thank God I kept my appointment because I thought about canceling my pain psych appointment afterwards, but I needed it because he left the room and was like, take your time. You can take your call in here. Nobody will be in here. And he closed the door and I just started sobbing. I was so angry and so upset and so defeated.
Mm-hmm.
And so thank God I got on the phone with my therapist and she helped kind of talk me through and get me to a point where I was like, okay, I can leave the building now.
Well, I'm so glad that you took that because having to stomach that the way me and you processed, that would have been something that would be like, okay, I'm going to contain it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll let it explode eventually because like we'd instantly start doubting ourselves, right? Like be like, oh, I guess I'm a baby.
Right.
But for you to get on with your psych and her to be like, no, that's
was
messed
crappy.
up.
I'm really sorry that happened to you. Yeah.
Then, I mean, that's good. I'm glad that you got instant validation that was a shitty situation.
Yes. I'm glad I got to talk to her because I was just not in a good place. And I was so angry. And
is that a spider?
I took, where?
Might have just been a fluff. I saw a big thing just fall down.
I took the rest of the day off because I was just a wreck. And then I came over here. And we were having a day. And Jen was having a day.
Oh my God, dude. All three of us.
And Taco was having a day.
Dude. Thanks for calling, Taco.
Yeah.
That was great for us, too. Like,
right.
I know you think it's a hassle. It's not a hassle.
No.
It was a good conversation.
And the timing worked out great because otherwise I would not have been here with you.
Yeah, you literally messaged me right as she got here. I was like, I guess we're going to hop in a call with Taco.
Yeah. And I was like, game, Let's go.
But, oh, dude.
It just sucked. And it was just one of those things where, like, I don't know, you get in a good pattern with doctors for a while and you then start to let your guard down.
Yeah.
And then someone's like, push you over the edge of this cliff?
Well, yeah, it's like you start trusting again. You're like, I know, or you think you've gotten to the point where you can navigate even the pain in the ass doctors. And then you meet one that's just like, no, I'm a complete twat.
Yeah.
And you're like, great, good for you.
I'm a bag of dicks.
He was.
It was not fun. I did not like that.
He's up there. There are like three doctors now that I can just like the nurse.
Fatima.
Yeah, Fatima. I'm gonna find you, Fatima. I'm gonna explain to you why it was fucked up.
Yeah. No, it was not helpful at all. And I was upset that I had been waiting for this, and I was upset that the rest of Kaiser hadn't done their job, so that he didn't come into the room automatically annoyed and like, why are you here? You're so dumb. Get out of my sight. I was just like, I hate you. I hate all of this. I'm done. So we're just going to deal with the neurological stuff by my lonesome for a bit.
Well, it's like you're doing
I'm
it
done
piecemeal
fighting
now.
with them.
Like you're going to be taking it symptom at a time instead of whole picture.
Yeah.
Which is stupid, but that's where you're at.
Right. He was just so icky about it. That just sucked a lot.
I'm not riled up. No. You're riled up. I don't know what you're
We're all riled up. But we've all had those experiences, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is about neurology specifically or like specialists specifically.
I've talked to so many
gastro?
No. Nurse practitioners.
Oh yeah.
And they're always like, "Oh, you saw a specialist," and
they know.
It's understood that specialists are hard to work with because they're specialists.
And the ego is so special.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you don't stroke the ego correctly, you get nothing. And you will like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which is funny because the one gastro who I really liked was a nurse practitioner.
Yeah.
She's the one who actually fixed my hiatal hernia.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we got put onto the EDS because of a I can't remember
Nurse
them.
practitioner?
NPs. I keep
Yeah.
trying to say NP, but I go CNA. I'm like, no, it's
Yeah.
not the same thing.
No.
Derp.
But yeah, so that was Tuesday.
Tuesday, everyone.
And then by Wednesday, I had enough of all of life. And so I talked to HR and was like, how do I get accommodations? Because I'm tired of these conversations about like, you can't leave 15 minutes early. That's bad. How are you going to make up that 15 minutes you left early? That's
She's misrepresenting. You want? This wasn't a conversation. Her boss didn't approach her and say, what are we going to do about this thing?
It was a meeting.
It was a meeting in which they're like, well, we have this problem about people, and they just stared at her, I'm assuming, and pointed, and there was a neon sign that said, I'm the problem.
Yeah.
But like, they were clearly coming at you.
Yeah.
Because you had to leave early one day.
Yeah. Because I was a mess. Thank you. But so I had enough. And then my HR person was like, you need to talk to your boss first. And I was like, this is not going to go well. But I was very careful about how I worded my email. Because I was like, hey, can we chat today at some point? Because I need to talk to you about official accommodations.
Yeah.
And then I did my research beforehand because I had no idea what I was doing when I was requesting accommodations. I remember how hard it was for like summer to go through and
it's
try to
it's so
navigate
easy to
that.
get bamboozled. It's
Yeah.
like Ruth said, if the wording isn't put
Right.
specifically, they can use it to lock you into a situation that's not actually helpful.
Right. So I was very, very careful, and I said, because of my disabilities, I struggle with fatigue, blood pressure, temperature regulation, and overall pain. The reasonable accommodation I am asking for is to come in up to 30 minutes late and leave up to 30 minutes early at the end of the day without being penalized.
Instead of going in and being like, I need half an hour on both ends of the day.
Yeah.
Because
No.
that's not even what you worded. The way she worded it is that she can, not that she won't.
Right. Well, and I can use it at my leisure. So I can be like, oh, I was 20 minutes late coming in
and it is
one
a
day.
reasonable
I
accommodation.
was 5 minutes late coming in. And I think we've noticed a difference so far. So that started on Thursday.
Yeah.
So Thursday and Friday, I got to leave early, which
changed everything.
makes a difference.
It made a huge
difference.
I was blown away.
Oh my God. I was not like a zombie yesterday
Yeah.
when we did our live. I actually was like alive and ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun too. So
It was
Friday,
really
yeah,
fun.
we had our live and that was good. But yeah, it's been a week full of like just weird things and next steps and kind of being boxed into stuff and closed doors, like slammed doors.
But
more
new
like.
doors,
Yeah.
your accommodations was a positive.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think we should talk about that for just a second.
Yeah.
Is that you shouldn't like put it off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm glad you did it this early into the school year.
Yes.
Instead of waiting for it to get
Struggling
bad enough that
until-
you
yeah.
need it.
Because my worry was that they were going to be like, well, let's just take it out of your leave and see how that goes. And I'm like, I'm going to
Right.
be out of leave by October.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to happen because I've already taken a day on Tuesday. Oop. But I'm hoping that this will help me to be able to stay at work
Yes.
more often and
Yeah.
longer.
And be more engaged.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm really enjoying my classes. They're really fun. They're good kids.
That she teaches. She's not
Yes.
taking classes.
I am teaching art this year. It's good
And
stuff.
she's teaching gossip.
Teaching gossip.
Those of you that watch that are her students, hit me up. Send me the tea. I need to know. Let me know how annoying she is, and we
They're
can
like,
commiserate.
she falls over everything all the time.
I was trying to
She
do
just trips
an acrylic
continually.
pour, and she just landed on it. I was like, I guess it's art now.
It's art now. I'm the art. Yeah.
It's just your silhouette.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny because it's silhouette.
There you go. But no,
Anyway.
like the accommodations thing, it felt so out of reach until last Friday
Yeah,
when a coworker was like,
suggested it to
Dude.
you. Yeah.
it makes sense to do this and this. But I was so worried that that would be okay, we're going to adjust your salary based on this request.
Right.
So I did wind up having to point out to them that, like, guys, I'm salary and you're trying to create equality with the people who work hourly. You're paying me for a job. You're not paying me for hours.
Right.
So if I'm doing the job, I'm still disabled.
And you are. I mean, last year was a shit show.
Yeah.
On like when you were able to get in and be
Yeah.
out, and you still managed to get your job done.
Yeah.
So like, at least now there's a safety net. Like it's not gonna get taken away from you,
Right.
At least not abruptly.
No.
It has to be discussed if it ever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's worth doing. So like, if you're on the fence and you're like, in the future I might need accommodate, maybe look into doing it now.
Right.
Get ahead of it.
Well, and sometimes you're gonna need like letters from doctors.
Yeah.
I was able to get it in the first step, which is that conversation with my direct supervisor.
Mm-hmm.
And she just approved the accommodations because they should know by now. Hi, I have disabilities. I'm really not super quiet about it.
Right.
But then if that had not worked, the next step would be to go back to HR
Mm-hmm.
with letters from doctors saying that these accommodations are necessary.
Yeah. And if you end up taking the same route, make sure that you read what they write.
Yes. Oh
Ruth,
my gosh.
Ruth was very clear on this, and it makes perfect sense that
Yeah.
it can be worded in a way that sounds non-malicious, but the intent could still be misinterpreted and used against you. So you got to be really careful about the way doctors write things.
Yes. Well, and it's all about like the letter of the law versus the spirit of. So you've got to make sure the letter is correct.
Yep.
But I did find that official accommodations requests cannot be ignored by your employers.
Mm-hmm.
And if they are official accommodations requests, they are in the format of, I need accommodations because my disability makes this hard.
Right.
In this
so you
way.
Explain the situation.
But you don't have to give your diagnoses. That's not what they're asking for. And if they are asking you for your diagnoses, illegal. Don't do that. They literally can only ask for like, how is it affecting you? And how is this accommodation going to help you?
Right.
That's what they want and need. Don't ever give them like your full diagnoses. That's insane. Not that they would even understand them most of the time, but you know, sometimes it's a power move.
Yeah.
Because people are crazy.
So let that be your sign.
Yeah.
If you needed it, or something to think about.
Right.
Like it, and it doesn't like yours isn't crazy.
Right.
It's not like I need Thursdays and Fridays off. It's like I need a little bit of time in the morning, and I need to get out of work early so that I don't die in traffic on the way home.
Uh-huh.
Simple.
Well, and so that I have like enough day at home.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting like before I was getting home at like 5 o'clock, between 5 o'clock and 5:15.
Mm-hmm.
And I would come home, eat dinner, and then just tank.
Yeah.
Like I was just so done. Couldn't do anything. I was so tired. And then by Thursday, I'm like, how do I get called out of work?
Right.
And
how many
Friday,
buses have to hit me before I can call out?
Exactly. And then Friday, I'm like crawling on the ground, trying to get my stuff together.
And she crawls in here like half dead, and I'm like, "You want to do the life?" She's like, "Yeah, I want to do the life." And I'm like, "You're literally a corpse." And she's like, "Shut up." I'm like, "What are you gonna do about it?"
I'm tired.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
It made a difference. I'm excited that happened.
Yeah. There's also websites where you can look at like what might be reasonable accommodations.
Yeah.
And it'll help explain the concept to you better because like I have a good understanding because I'm a special education teacher and I understand like the legislature there. If you are unsure, definitely like reach out for help for doing this. Union rep, if you've got one, can't hurt at all. But literally, I just went through and looked for reasonable accommodations, and I found that flexible time schedule is listed in the reasonable accommodations.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, we're going to select that one and then change it to mean what I need it to mean.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah.
That was her week.
It worked. It was great.
And then we did the lives, and they were good.
Yes.
And we did the live this morning. It was really good. We had new people there, which was great.
It was really cool.
We had a lot of interactions. I just like seeing you guys. It was fun.
All the time.
You. Thank you.
Anytime. Anytime we can talk to you, we're happy about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that we don't interact on Discord very much. It's like if I don't stay caught up, then I get fall behind, and I have so much to read, or I feel guilty that I didn't respond.
I know you get in and you're like, I feel like a jerk, and so I'm going to avoid it because it makes me feel away.
Yeah.
Yay, avoid it.
It's not like we're avoiding you. We really do love you guys.
Yes.
So.
Well, and sometimes I'm like, I'll be reading something, but then I realize that it's like 4 days in the past. I'm like, I can't put that in the feed anymore. Yeah. But we do read it. We go through it.
Mm-hmm.
We try to keep up.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And it's a happy place full of not happy people, but the people make it happy.
Yeah. There you go.
You know, chronic illness or whatever. Anyways, so break time.
Break time.
You know what that means.
You need to take your meds.
Yes.
Do it.
Don't put it off.
Your meds. Don't snooze the alarm. Actually, I lied. Snooze the alarm until you absolutely have taken it, and then you can turn it off.
Good call.
Yeah.
Very smart. Don't forget to hydrate, because you might dehydrate if you don't.
Yeah.
So hydrate. Stay hydrated.
Water is good. It's so hot, especially if you are in the United States right now. It's getting a little warm.
Or Europe, man.
They're a little warm too. Yeah.
So.
What else? Take a break if you can, if you need to. Yeah. Give yourself some time to check in with yourself and see what it is that your body is asking for.
Yeah. And then, take some time for yourself in general.
Yeah.
Some me time. Center yourself.
Get some sunlight.
And
I know it's hot. Maybe from the shade.
And you have to do the reminder.
Which reminder?
The
Oh, yes. Here is your reminder, since we're talking about some pretty triggering stuff that we can all kind of relate to with the doctors blowing us off left and right. You are and always will be worth more than you can produce or do for anyone else. You are not a burden. You are a human being. And because you exist, you are worthy of love.
Fact.
And we love you. So keep that in mind. Your life's mission does not need to be productivity. Even though that is often what we are driven back to by our medical professionals and our mental health professionals too at times. So be gentle with yourself, be kind to yourself, be patient with yourself.
Yeah.
It'll be okay.
And also, bipolar bro check. If you're bipolar, are you manic? You might be manic. Think about it.
Don't buy that thing. Run it by somebody first.
Ignore her. She doesn't.
No.
She
run it
she
by a friend.
She means well, but she doesn't get it. From her perspective,
not bipolar because you need to find out if this is.
I'm not talking about spending.
Person.
I'm talking about just in general. Are you manic? Check in. Understand yourself better.
Yeah.
And also, go ahead, buy the stuff. You know what? I'm sick of it. I can't live behind the rules anymore. I'm going to go spend all the stuff. I want all the money. I'm going to spend it all.
Have a good break. We'll be right back.
Oh, hi. Do you like Fantastic Pains? Would you like to see more of the Fantastic Pains podcasting crew? If so, you should join our Patreon. The Patreon, as we like to call it, is the new home of our behind-the-scenes content, full uncut recording sessions, our short-form videos such as TikToks and YouTube Shorts, and our past live streams. You can also find some Patreon-exclusive content such as our new music reviews, lost episodes, and is the new home of our Mini Voices series, all of which can be found in our higher tier dubbed The Only Pains. The Patreon is the best way to support the podcast, so whether you want to see more of us or just want to help us grow, feel free to sign up following the link in the description below, and hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of the show.
Welcome back. How was your break? Mine was great.
Did you do the things?
Did you?
Any of the things?
Some of them?
Some of them is good.
Yeah.
We'll take it. Take your meds if you didn't do that.
Really? You got to stop putting that off.
Take your meds.
Anyways, so we're back.
We are back.
And we're going to talk about my week now and talk about
Yes.
the subjects that matter to me. Not matter so much as they're pertinent to me.
Yeah. What was up with the week?
A lot of emotional stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of emotional stuff. So, as I said last week, Jen lost her job to stupidity.
Yeah.
They scapegoated her out of a living, even though she'd been working for them for 6 years and had an impeccable record.
Yep.
And turned around several stores from non-profitable to profitable. She was amazing. And now she has a void.
Yes.
So I've been doing my best to let her process and also be supportive.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of one of the things I want to talk about. Spousal support with EDS or, chronic disease. And then also dealing with understanding the delicacies of
right. The intricacies of how we balance the workload.
Yeah.
Essentially.
It's kind of interesting because I want to rush it because I'm in pain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
You're let's get over this really quick.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I don't have the time and I do. It's for Jen. I have the time and energy for anything.
Yeah.
But You know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
there's like a sense of urgency because of the constant pain. It's like,
Yes.
oh, nah, I just want to tell you how to fix it.
Right.
And it's not like it would work. Like,
Right. It's
you
not
tell
a
them,
fixie kind of thing.
no. And then the other thing was being ill and carrying the emotional or physical loads
Mhm.
in a couple.
Yeah.
And how sometimes you take the lead and sometimes the other takes the lead, and
Right.
how it's not a 50-50 all the time.
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
It's
Like,
nonsense. If you're thinking relationships are 50-50, don't, because that's not how it
it's
works.
such an unhealtly mindset too.
Right.
To come at them and be like,
Be like,
here's
well,
my
that's
list of things
my-
I did. Here's the list of things that you didn't do because I did mine. So like, well, since you noticed, how about you do the things on that list you
Right.
just pointed out?
Well, and then it turns into this like, well, that's not fair because I did all of my blah, 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 blah. Or I'm not going to do that because I already did my, like, this is your half, your side.
Exactly.
Keep it on your side.
It's like there's no communal anything.
Mhm.
Like, why cut it in half? I just hate
Yeah.
that thinking.
Yeah.
Which is why that TikTok kind of annoys me, where she's explaining it, because it's like,
Yeah.
to me, it's like, duh.
Right. Right.
Like, why wouldn't you take over when they need you
Exactly.
to, or step back
'Cause
when
God-
you need to?
Can you imagine being in a 50-50 relationship and then having like 20%?
Yeah.
Because that happens. Because
Mhm.
life happens. And sometimes we aren't able to produce or like carry our weight, which is a dumb thing also.
Yeah.
But it does feel that way. Like in a relationship like that, you're gonna wind up feeling like a burden.
Yes.
And you don't want resentment to brew if your spouse is looking at it that same way.
Right. Well, and that's the other thing, is both being on that same page. Yeah. Because like, I could be like, well, I'll take the load.
Yeah.
But that could also come off as me like being pushy. Like if she was like, I need to do my 50%.
Right.
And I was like, I'll take 80.
I'm not taking charity.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, you're not charity,
It's a
dude.
team effort.
Right. We're together here.
Well, and that's the thing is like we forget that it's like it's not just this relationship. It is a team model for going through life.
Right. You've picked your person.
Right.
You pick someone.
You're in it together.
Yeah.
Figure out how to make it work together
Mm-hmm.
and not individualistically assign the load one way or the other.
We've always functioned that way.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you and Randy have always kind of just naturally done that too, right?
Right.
Like,
Well, because we had a really like hyper independent relationship from the very get go, because that's who we are, and I'm hyper independent because I'm traumatized. I have trauma, so I'm very independent. And so I've always made a point to very carefully be like, no, I'm gonna hold on to my independence with this. But yeah, like we've always had this give and take kind of model
yeah.
where we're
it's-
making up for the other one.
It's not the other way too, where it's like you're so hyper independent that you refuse to like
Right.
share the load.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like
No.
you're still like, this is a functioning relationship.
Yeah. Well, and it took some time to get to a point where I could be like, hey, can you help me take care of my part of
Right.
whatever I'm supposed to be doing because I'm struggling, or like, hey, can you give me some more time to do the thing
Mm-hmm.
because I'm struggling.
Right.
And usually it's one of those things I didn't need to ask that. He's like, I'm not putting you on a time limit.
I know.
And I'm like,
I love when you get those
I
questions
know.
from them and you're like, why are you asking?
Yeah.
And Jen, like with me and
I'm
Jen,
like, you
Jen will
don't
be
need my
like,
permission.
I don't know. I thought that I needed permission.
Yeah.
But you don't.
There's just that weird anxiety attached to it, right?
Yeah.
Because everything in our society is about how productive you can be, how much you can produce, how much you can bring home at the end of the day, how much whatever it is, how much attention,
Yeah.
how much energy. That's how clean your house is, how often you clean your house.
Mm-hmm.
All of those things are like ingrained in our society.
Right.
And so
You have these weird expectations.
Yeah.
Societal expectations
Right.
that you apply to your relationship.
yeah,
Which isn't fair.
no.
It's a mold for something that doesn't exist.
Yeah. Well, and it's so strange to think of the elder generations doing everything based on what it looks like from the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you keep your yard nice. Why? Because other people are looking at your yard.
Right.
I'm not pulling my weeds because I don't have the energy to do that. Are other people looking at my yard? I don't know. I don't care. Why are you looking at my yard?
Right.
Go away.
Or like how there was the gender gap, right? Like
Yeah.
the here's your role.
Mhm.
That's your 50%.
That.
Was like, you are the kitchen. You are
Yes.
the kid rearer.
Yeah.
That's my job.
I
But-
had a friend a while back who was in a relationship like that where they had been married very young. They were very young when we were hanging out, so they were probably like 20 and married. And I say that like, oh my god, that's so young. I got married at 20. It's a whole thing. But this was a very like, he had grown up in a very Christian home where there were very Christian values of like, this is what the man does and this is what the woman does.
Yeah.
And so they were living together, but you can't afford to eat if you're not both working.
Right.
And then it would turn into this like, well, you worked and then came home. Why is dinner not on the table? Like, I worked really hard today and I expect dinner to be on the table.
Right.
Like that kind of mindset that is dying out, not only because it's restricting, but also because there's no way to survive if you're not both working, essentially,
Right.
or having a multi-person household.
Right.
So
No joke.
the gender roles are going out the window unless you got some cash.
Well, we threw ours out right away. Like,
Oh yeah.
and when we brought it up, it was funny when we had the conversation about like, I'll take the time to like work on all the EDS stuff and
Yeah.
figuring that out, and she'll work and I'll take care of the kids.
Mhm.
It wasn't for us. It was, are we okay with people judging us for it?
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's really what the crux was. Is like, how are the families going to react?
Yeah.
Jen's family is going to feel very strongly about some of this. Our family is going to feel very strongly about some of this.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, were we ready to just do it? And
Yeah.
Jen was like, yeah, let's do it, bro. And I was like,
Right.
all right, you work and I'll do the children's and then we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And it works.
And it does. It really does. To split the load based on need,
Mhm.
I think is really where it is. And I mean, there may come a point where you're both at 20%, and at that point you gotta reevaluate, because you can't both burn each other out at the same time, because
Yeah.
then fireworks happen and it's not a good time for anybody.
Yeah.
So being mindful and communicative of where the other person is at can
Yeah.
be really helpful in this way.
Oh yeah. Explicit communication, I think is,
Yes.
it's, I don't know.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard about this thing called explicit communication?
Explicit communication.
I don't.
It's right on my
She mentioned
forehead.
it once a couple episodes ago, maybe in season 1 and season 2 and 3
maybe
and 4.
every episode.
She's
For
always
a
talking about it.
while.
But
Um,
I mean, that's the model, right?
yes,
Um.
it's. Do you mind if we don't make dinner tonight? I'm
Right.
really tired. Then oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
Or hey, can you start dinner while I'm on my way home,
Mhm.
and then I will clean dinner up so you can relax after dinner.
Yeah.
Or there are some things that now what we found is that it's just easier for us both because we both have ADHD, and it's really hard to initiate tasks and follow through tasks
Yep.
and coordinate where both of our brains are at the time. So doing tasks together can
Mhm.
be so incredibly helpful.
Yeah.
Oh, like if you get to make dinner with your spouse, awesome.
I do.
Awesome. And it's fun bonding time.
Yeah.
I like that time. That's my favorite time.
Yeah. Well, and like we were talking about burnout, like you burn each other out.
Yes.
Like I'm lucky. Jen and I don't have the personalities to burn each other out. We're very, like, even just sitting next to each other is like regenerating.
right.
Like, even if we're both like
Parallel
having
play.
the worst time,
Yeah.
I'll be like, "Can you sit next to me for a little bit?" And she'll be like, "Okay." And she'll right from bed. Oh my god, dude.
I didn't realize my hand was swollen.
She's swallowing.
Yeah.
But
But
yeah. So like it's
Parallel
interesting.
play. It
There was a
works.
time when we were like when
Trying
we
to
would
force the gender role.
No, it was during the like the legal battles and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Where like the first set where it was like, this shouldn't be happening. Like,
Yeah.
dude, we've talked about this. There was like friction,
Yeah.
and that was just a matter of accountability.
Right.
And once we settled it, and we're like,
Yeah.
yes, this was a dumb thing. Yes, I felt this way. You feel
Yes.
this way.
Right.
I'm not upset anymore.
Now, how do we move forward?
Right.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we work.
Yeah.
I don't understand her. I don't understand how we work, but we just do.
Yeah.
I mean, she's awesome, clearly,
Very much.
and I'm not.
Well,
Clearly.
that's the thing. Like, especially when you are chronically ill, you're gonna have different skill sets
Very.
from your spouse, and especially if your spouse is well, which neither of ours are like well people. We all are just a little messed up most of the time. We are. Though.
Sorry, I converted it to Dokkan terms.
What did you do?
So okay, in Dokkan, characters have link skills, and when two people have a link skill, you get the skill, the
Yeah.
ability, or the bonus, or whatever.
Mhm.
And between the four of us, we all have different like ways that we link together.
Yeah.
So it makes a good team overall.
Yeah.
But it's true, like Randy and I click on certain things really well that you just can't, because this your brain doesn't do it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's really fun. Like my brain was like link skills. Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. They're just complementary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, absolutely. But being chronically ill, it's important that your spouse also understands what your limitations are and what you like, what pushing through looks like versus like
Right.
overdoing it looks like, and all these things, because they're your closest observers.
Mm,
So utilize that to your advantage.
right.
For sure.
Yeah, that's something I never really thought about till just now.
Hmm.
But the way Jen and I observe each other and help each other notice the things in each other
Yeah.
all the time. Like when she points out manic episodes that I haven't noticed, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh wow, you're right, thanks.
Yeah.
Just she's like, you're being manic again. I'm like, you're right. That's true. Or like recently, like when she was feeling really upset about
Yeah.
the loss of work, she didn't know she was feeling away until
Yeah.
I pointed it out
Mhm.
gently, and after she was in a place that it was not going to break her.
Right.
But we had a conversation about it. I was like, I know
Yeah.
you're feeling this, and she's like, oh yeah, I guess you're right. It's like, yeah.
I have to do the same with Randy. Like, there are days where from the minute I see him, I'm like, what's wrong?
Right.
And he's like, nothing. I don't think.
Right.
But I'm like all day long watching, like, what's wrong? What's going on? Something's going on. What's going on?
Right.
Is this an anniversary of something? What's up?
Right.
Are you processing something from a couple days ago? What's happening?
Yeah.
Did something in your environment mess you up? Like,
Yeah.
but it's a lot of that like evidence gathering,
Mhm.
right? And
Oh, totally.
observational data and watching the other person's patterns and then being able to communicate clearly without being like, you're doing this
Yeah.
or you're being this.
Randy does it for you too, though.
Yeah.
Like I've seen plenty of times he'll be like, hey, is this going on? And then usually because she's a smartass, she goes, no, actually it's this other thing. But it's like he put you on that path, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Because Jen and I do it all the time.
Oh, yeah.
All the time.
Yep.
I love that. There's something reassuring about
Yeah.
the fact that someone's watching you and understands you to
Right.
that degree.
Yeah. Well, and it gives that like flexibility of understanding one another and that empathy
Mm-hmm.
so that we can take up some of the extra load
When you
without resentment building.
right, or having it be a crisis, right? Like
right.
because if you're putting it off and then you're breaking down and asking
Yes.
for help
Then it's too late.
when it could have been avoided if
Yeah.
you had just been there
right.
in the first place.
Right. So like when my face was a mess, my husband absolutely picked up like 90% of the workload.
Mm-hmm.
Taking care of the house and making dinner and making sure that I was good and
Yeah.
I was taken care of and leading some conversations and it's interesting I think it'd be different if we had like set dynamics.
Right.
Because imagining other people who have like really set dynamics where like one person is dominant in that relationship
Oh yeah.
and then something happens to that dominant person
And then they're like,
and then they don't know what to do
right.
because this person has always been like not submissive, but you know what I mean.
No,
like,
no. Jen kind of had that problem when I was in the hospital
yeah,
because I'm usually, it's not like so much like a not lead, but I'm stable. Even when I'm
Yeah.
injured, I'm stable.
Mhm.
And when
It's
I was out of
reassuring, yeah.
commission, like mentally, it freaked her out because she didn't know what
yeah,
to do. She'd never had to deal with me not being there.
present.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, no, I think if you are stuck in a set dynamic, maybe question whether that dynamic is actually working
Yeah, like
for
beneficial.
everybody.
Yeah.
Or if you need to implement some more flexibility and try different things.
Yeah.
Because the more flexible you can remain, the easier it is to kind of roll with the punches
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and then take it up for the other person. So when my husband had a head injury, I took all of that up for a while.
Yeah.
There are like time limits on those really heavy like
Well, yeah,
taking it on. 'cause
it's literally, if you think about it in
you're gonna
terms of weight,
fatigue.
yeah,
Yeah.
you can only take so much for so long.
Yeah. So you're gonna fatigue at some point. So it's important to check in with one another and
Yeah.
be like, hey, can you take 10 pounds
Otherwise,
off of this?
then you do build the resentment
Yes.
really easily. Like, well,
'Cause
it's
you're
been
like,
this
well,
long.
I'm waiting for you to
Or-
take some of it
Or
back.
it builds panic. I
Yeah.
remember there was a time when you were worried that this was like a forever change.
Yeah.
And like, there's no way I could handle this permanently.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was a scary time.
I had that same thought, but backwards for me. Like, I was
Yeah.
worried that like, even with surgeries, I wouldn't be able to pick up enough slack to keep it even.
That's a fear that I have all the time, and it's mostly because right now, like it's hard to survive without multiple incomes.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I dropped any of my like financial backpack,
Mm-hmm.
that could be really bad for us as a pair.
Right.
And so I put a lot of like energy and weight on myself doing that.
But you talk about it.
Yeah.
It's not something
and it's
that
something
you
think
like.
about. Like
You're not in the background like, God, I wish I didn't have to work all the time. Randy doesn't work enough. He should work more. Like, you know what I mean?
right.
It's
Well,
like,
and even now, like he's about to start night school, and we've had really good conversations about like, okay, if you're going to do this, like, do you feel like you're stable enough and you're okay to do this?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. If that ever changes, we need to be in close communication about it.
yeah,
Because if we're gonna do this, you need to take care of yourself and make that a priority.
mm-hmm.
Because I can take up the weight, but I don't need you burning yourself out, because then that leaves the weight on me for much longer,
Yeah.
and you have a harder time like recovering
Right.
in general.
Well, the whole thing could be avoided. Like,
yes.
as long as everyone's being open and
Yeah.
and even just having conversations as like a periodic check-in. 'Cause,
Yeah.
again, maybe you'll observe something that he won't,
Yeah.
and
exactly.
then he'll be made aware of, or
Mhm.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I like that.
So yeah, taking out that like 50-50 mindset and throw that away.
Especially when you're disabled. Like,
Yes.
if you have any chronic anything,
God, you're gonna wring yourself out like a
trying
Dry
to keep
towel.
up. Yeah. Oh my God. Or and trying to make it equal in the wrong ways.
yeah.
Like, I have to do 50% physical and 50% emotional work,
Mhm.
versus like, I can take care of you emotionally. I can teach the kids and stuff,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to be able to like reorganize the room and clean up all this mess, right?
Yeah.
That's something you can do.
Yeah.
And then it's understood. That's like between
Right.
Jen and I.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I pick up the emotional because she's with the kids, she's like a brick. And they are very delicate. Like
They are
paper?
emotionally aware and observant and rejection sensitive,
So,
dysphoric.
You have Jen coming up on this little piece of paper, and she's like, "Sup, dude? Why do you stink?" Push right through the window. Like that could have been handled a lot better.
Yeah.
You could have been tactful, or they'll come in crying, and Jen is like, "Oh, hi," and then Ren will like slowly turn and look at me, and she's bawling. I'm like, she doesn't notice you're crying. Come here.
Oh my God.
Jen's not always.
tism at
it's
work.
the tism, yeah.
Yeah.
She just, you have to be
Right.
really clear about your emotions
Yes.
with her sometimes, especially with the kids. Whereas I'm like, the wind blows and I'm like, oh, something bad happened yesterday,
Yeah.
didn't it?
Uh-huh. You're like, what's wrong?
Yeah.
Immediately, what's wrong?
Mhm.
You good? What's going on?
Yeah.
What's wrong?
It's my.
I'm
my
gonna
forte,
poke you until I get it out.
which is why I'm the kid rearer.
Yeah.
I reared the kid.
Yeah.
But you get
do
what
a
I'm
good
saying,
job
right?
doing
Like,
it. Yeah. There are like,
compliment.
exactly. We complement each other's strengths and weaknesses,
Mhm.
and build from there and try different systems. And like Randy and I discovered that, hey, can you help me with something?
Yeah.
Works great for like, let's switch tasks or
Yeah.
something of that nature.
Right.
Works awesome. But he's also really sensitive now to how I come home, and he knows whether or not like, hey, do you want to get something done? Or it's like, why don't you sit down and I will finish dinner and then we can hang out.
Randy, do you struggle with this thing that I struggle with?
He can't hear us.
Randy.
Yes.
Okay, I need to know if you struggle with this thing that I do.
Okay.
Say you've had a day, like to yourself, right?
Yeah.
And then Karina gets home. And you just want to say all the things that happened and like dump it on her. Be like, I'm really excited about my day. I did this and this and this and this happened. And she's burned the fuck out.
Yes.
Does it? It's not just me, right?
No, that's not just you. I do the same thing.
Okay. I'm just
Yeah.
checking in because Jen gets home from work and I'm like, hey. And she's like,
Golden Retriever energy.
stop. And I'm like, okay, my
Yeah.
bad.
We had at points there's like a rule of like I need 45 minutes to an hour of alone
Yeah.
time, and then we can talk about whatever you want to talk
Yeah.
about. But God help you, don't talk to me anymore because I will explode and or cry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I same.
Because I just like working while ill is so overstimulating all the time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then driving home in the heat with crazy drivers is overstimulating.
Yeah.
And then you get home and you're just like, oh my God, I'm so tired and I need there to not be as much stimulation and I need it to stop for a little while.
No, I get it. When I was working and when I was going to school, like my mom knew not to talk to me for at least an hour after
Yeah.
we got home. Like
Yeah.
we wouldn't talk on the ride home. We wouldn't talk until I went to my room.
Yep.
Like decompressed and then came back out.
Yeah.
Then I was good to go.
Yeah. I'm like, I need to reset my equilibrium. Like, I'm not regulated. I've had to regulate myself all day.
Mhm.
And now I need to like release that tension.
Yeah.
But you're making me more tense.
Yeah. It's like all that energy
Yeah.
right at once. But it's so hard because you just want to
Golden
share all the
Retriever
thing.
energy. Yeah. Or the worst is when he comes at me with like a, hey, we need to talk about this
Oh,
thing that
yeah.
we need to worry about that's kind of a problem or
Same,
blah, blah, blah.
same.
Or like asking me to make decisions. And I'm like, can't.
Not right now. Yeah.
No decision making. Nope. Can't.
Yeah. No, I do the same.
I do not want. I don't need. I have no idea what I am doing. Sleepy time.
It's something that I don't struggle with now, but it's definitely in the early days.
Yeah.
Like I was just so jazzed, or if we did have something to worry about,
Yeah.
I wanted to solve it right away.
Yes.
And this is my bipolar brain in action, being like, do it now.
That's
She's here.
my husband.
Let's get the progress. Let's get going.
Yeah.
And you're like, I can't wait. I just gotta do it. Yeah.
And we're like, I'm gonna strangle you.
Mhm.
Don't talk to me anymore.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, where are we at?
I think we're at end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so too. Cool.
All right, it's over. Bye.
I mean, yeah.
No.
That's it. That's all we got. Go away.
I mean, the takeaway is be clear
Yes.
and understand that the loads change.
Yeah.
And that you're not a drain on your spouse. They chose you and they know what's going on with you.
Yes.
Don't.
Well, and that was the other thing. If you're ill, try to make what's going on with you clear to your partner,
Yes.
because they may not understand fully like why you're limited in some way or another. And if they're not involved in the process, try to be clear when you're like giving them information,
Right.
because they're not going to doctor's appointments with you. They don't know what's happening.
Right.
They don't always know, especially if you're like me and you have trauma and you like to like, don't look in the closet.
Right.
Shh, it's all fine.
I was gonna say, like, when
and then I'm like, hi, I'm in the urgent care. And he's like,
what?
excuse me,
Yeah.
what?
What?
And I'm like, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
That's the worst.
I did it all the time.
Oh, I know. I did
And
too.
I was just like, it's fine. It's really fine. I mean,
Especially
it's
when
not
Jen
an
was working out of
emergency.
state, I'd be like, she's
Yeah.
like, what's going? Like, I wouldn't tell her though. She would call me or message me like, oh, I can't talk. I'm in the ER. It's fine.
Left work midday, had to go to the urgent care.
Yeah. No, keeping them
Don't
involved
worry.
in what's going on with you is super important.
Yes.
And
Because-
remember that they can't relate the same way. So
Yeah.
like,
Well, and this was a news flash to me in the last couple weeks, last week maybe. They worry about you whether you feel like they have need to worry or not.
right.
And we like to trivialize our experience because that's how we function, and that is what helps us to like maintain
Yeah.
some semblance of sanity. And we kind of push that emotion away.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're like that, check in with your spouse because they do worry
Yes.
about you.
And it's okay for
because
them
they
to
love
worry.
you and
Yeah.
they care about you.
It's not. They don't think you're weak. It's no
Yeah.
judgment. It's literal concern because they don't want you to be in pain, even though you are,
Yes.
because they love you.
And that was a weird realization, but I'm going to take it in and respect it and honor it.
She's doing good, actually. I'm
Yeah.
not. I'm a mess.
We're
Hi.
working on it. You're not a mess. You're okay.
I've been downgraded from trash fire to smoldering pile of garbage.
Just smoldering though. Dude, the smolder.
Yeah, I did.
It is.
I did the smolder right off the. Anyways,
All right, my friends. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. I know this one was a little bit different from our usual format, but it was kind of fun. I actually really liked this.
Yeah.
Kind of breaking it down and walking through everything was kind of nice. So if you enjoyed it, please remember to like, share, subscribe, leave us a comment because we love them. We read them all. I will respond to you. Join the Discord if you feel the need. It is wonderful.
please join the Discord.
We can't sing these people's praises high enough. They're wonderful, and we don't know how we got them.
And you're wonderful, and you should be a part of it.
Exactly.
And also, season 7 is a thing that's being planned and is
Yes.
happening, and it's going to be big and it's going to be great. So just in your heart of hearts, know that season 7 is coming.
Manifest season 7 for us.
Yes, actually, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Put
do
that
that.
in your dream board for me. Like season 7. Like, what is that? Is that you're gonna have a 7th season? No, it's this podcast. They're just really wanting to have season 7 happen already.
We're trying for season 7. Just cross your fingers, guys.
All we got was 6.5.
Great. All right. Before we go, as always, be kind to you, be kind to others, and we will see you in the next one.
Bye.
That was great.
Yeah. I'm pretty much the best.
You are pretty much the best.
No. Bruh.
Bruh. Yes, you are. You're wonderful. Did you find the thing in the live?
I did.
We did?
I did.
Aw. I don't remember which
I had
live
to-
it was, and I don't remember where it is.
I had to walk away from the desk 3 times.
Oh my god.
Because I'd hit play and I'd take as much as I could and I'd pause. And I was like, nope.
He's like,
And I'd have to get the energy out. And then I'd come back. Like, all right. Nope. Gotta go back. Yeah.
You made it into my get to know me presentation when I did my welcome to Makerspace for the
Really?
kids. Yeah. You walking me down the aisle is one of the pictures.
Ah!
Says,
When we were laughing.
This is who I am. And I was like, and my brother is my very best friend in the whole world, and we have a podcast together. And my husband and I have been together for 10 years. Or no, we've been together for almost 15
I was
years.
gonna say you've been married for 10, but together
Married
forever.
for 10, yeah.
Jeez, you
Yeah.
guys are old.
Oh, rude. Yeah, I've been noticing that. It's weird.